In 1571, the Yucatan people fell ill to the plague. One man found a plant and along with other people, drank it. The substance turned the people blue and made them incapable of breathing in air. They quickly moved to the ocean and created a civilization in the deep water, Walakin. One of the women who ingested the plant had a baby named Walakin. The baby grew up to become ruler of Walakin. When Fen died, she asked to be buried on the land. Walakin led some guards up to the land where he saw a civilization. They attacked the civilization to make room for his mother's burial. One of the villagers called him Neymour, meaning the boy without love. Shuri works in her lab, trying hard to create an artificial heart-shaped herb to use for her brother and Wakanda's king, T'Challa, who is dying of an illness. Ramonda slowly walks into the lab, announcing the king's death. A year later, Wakanda is having trouble with other nations wanting their vibranium. The Dormelage catch French military men trying to steal from their outpost. Later, Ramonda talks to the United Nations and reveals the French's attempt to steal. She reminds the countries that even though the Black Panther is gone, they will still fight. At a mining outpost, Americans mine in the ocean using a vibranium detector that was created by an MIT student, Riri Williams. They use this to find vibranium in the ocean. Suddenly they come under attack by Talakanals who do not want them stealing their vibranium. The last remaining helicopter of survivors is struck down by Neymour. In Wakanda, Ramonda and Shuri go to the water and mourn the year since T'Challa's passing. They burn their funeral garments to signify the end of the mourning period, despite Shuri not being completely ready for this. Neymour then arrives, getting through the border by going under the water. He reveals to them the existence of Walakin and wants their help to stop foreigners from taking vibranium. He also explains that Wakanda is not the only place that has vibranium, Walakin has it too. Ramonda tells him off, worried of his presence. He tells them he is going to kill the scientist who made the machine and that they can help him, but they cannot get in his way. Shuri and Okoye go to meet Everett Ross, who gives them the name and location of the young scientist, despite possibly giving away private information. Okoye and Shuri then go to Cambridge, Massachusetts to find Williams. They follow her to a garage where she reveals that she is working on an Iron Man type armor. However, they are followed by the FBI. The three get away, Okoye in a car, Shuri in a motorcycle, and Williams in her armor. Suddenly, they are met by Talakanals, Atuma, and Namora. A brief skirmish ends in Shuri and Williams getting captured. Ross arrives at the scene the next day and meets with his ex-wife, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. He also finds Kimoyo beads and hides them. In Wakanda, an infuriated Queen Ramonda reprimands Okoye for losing Shuri, which is exacerbated by previous incidents such as when she seemingly sided with Killmonger when he usurped the throne, and fires her from her position as general. Shuri and Williams wake up in Walakin. Neymour shows Shuri the civilization, trying to convince her of his ideals, even giving her his mother's bracelet. However, she disagrees in killing Williams. Meanwhile, Ramonda goes to Haiti to see Nakia, who had left Wakanda 6 years prior. She asks Nakia to find Shuri for her. Nakia does some spying and figures out the location. She then breaks Williams and Shuri out as Ramonda talks to Neymour about his plan. They return to Wakanda, however just for additional torture as Neymour and his kid attack. They flood the city causing a hard and fast conflict. Neymour deals with all of the Wakandan vehicles prior to flooding the royal chamber holding Ramonda and Williams. Williams begins suffocating, so Ramonda swims to save her. She can get Williams to somewhere safe and secure, yet just two suffocate simultaneously. Shuri grieves her mom's passing as Neymour tells her she is sovereign at this point. He and his kin then, at that point, leave the country. In the interim, Allegra de Fontaine figures out that Ross has been speaking with Wakanda this entire time and has him captured. M'Baku converses with Shuri after the burial service and gives her ethical judgment that she shouldn't kill Neymour. He then, at that point, tells her he will give lodging to the uprooted Wakandans, following the assault. Shuri then utilizes Neimor's mom's armband to make the counterfeit heart-formed spice, which at last works. She goes to the astral plane subsequent to taking it and is welcomed by Eric Killmonger, who claims they are something of the fight. Shuri and Williams understand that they could debilitate Neimor by warming his body up to where it can't get oxygen. They then, at that point, make a second Ironheart shield. Shuri gives Okoye a new defensive layer, acting similar as Iron Man's do, called the 12 PM Heavenly Messengers. Okoye initiates Sonika to be separated of her two lady group. In the sea, they utilize a vessel to bait the Talacanos into a snare. The fight begins as Neimor appears to acquire the upper hand. Be that as it may, Dark Puma traps him in an Imperial Claw contender as they remove off from the fight. In the interim, the Dora Milaje battle the Talacanos on the vessel while the Jabari clan, Nakia, and the others fight the ones on top. Ironheart and the 12 PM Holy Messengers deal with the airborne Talacanos. Dark Puma warms up the illustrious Claw contender, debilitating Neimor. However, he starts to break out with his lance. Dark Puma shoots an impact from her vibranium gloves which detonate the entire boat, sending the two foes into the Jaguar breaks free and gets before the limping Neimor. She then, at that point, hollers Wakanda until the end of time as she coverings up, sending an impact from the detonating Claw contender into Neimor. He is set on fire as he implodes. She remains over him to polish him off, yet recollects her sibling, T'Challa. With these recollections of the man he was, she chooses to save Neimor's life the length of he gets back to Talakan. Neimor has appreciation for the Dark Puma and joins her as they return to the battle scene and advise everybody to quit battling. Dark Jaguar then, at that point, hollers Wakanda until the end of time indeed as the rest rehash it back. In the fallout, Williams gets back to MID without her defensive layer as the Wakandans need no contention with letting her keep it. Shuri leaves for Haiti as opposed to trying for the privileged position, which at last is tested by M'Baku. Afterward, Neimor paints in his room as Atuma welcomes him. Neimor guarantees her that their new coalition with Wakanda will be valuable. En route to jail, Okoye breaks Ross out of guardianship. In Haiti, Shuri meets with Nakia prior to leaving for the ocean side where she consumes her memorial service stylized robe, permitting her to lament at last. In a mid-credits scene, Shuri discovers that Nakia and T'Challa have a child, Toussaint, who Nakia has been bringing up stealthily distant from the tension of the privileged position. Toussaint uncovers his Wakanda